Good morning. Welcome everybody this morning. Today is Tuesday morning, December 15th. Janisa Bush, welcome this morning. Jan Atkins, welcome. Good morning to everybody. We're back in the Psalms this morning. Psalm 75 is where I'm going to be, or where I was earlier, depending on how you look at it. It's a cold morning this morning. Yeah, it's in the 30s, I think. Lori Agassi, there's my mom, good morning. Daryl and Suzanne, good to see you both. Sally Crocker, Lori Cares, good morning. Welcome everybody. Yeah, yesterday I fasted for the day, and I don't fast very often. I'm not really a good faster. I don't like being uncomfortable, and for that reason, it's such a good thing. It's such a good thing to have this as a spiritual discipline. I was reminded all day yesterday. Every time I would, a hunger pang would hit me, and I go, oh yeah, I want to eat something. And like, oh wait, no, I can't. And it's by choice. What kind of is the crazy thing, right? Mike and Joe, good to see you this morning. Jeremy and Wendy, Alyssa Tucker, welcome to you. So I know if any of you have decided to join me for the next 3 weeks, I'm going to take a day each week to fast. It's so important to align our hearts to the Lord, and it's a great spiritual discipline to that end, especially when so many serious matters are on the table and it weighs deeply upon you. And so that was I don't know if you heard that. There's a bunch of huge toms on the hillside over here. They just gobbled. But yeah, it's such a good thing. It's a cleansing thing. Makes you spiritually aware, because you're reminded constantly of the Lord. Because like every time I would feel hunger pain, I would say, "No, God is my food. Lord, you are my food." And so it was good in that sense, and I'm happy to have broken the fast at the same time. So anyway, so I want to encourage you in that area, if that's something you choose to do. These are hard times we live in, and I want to make sure that my heart is following God above all else. So in light of that, Psalm 75 this morning, I was reading and journaling about. I'm just going to read the first 3 verses. Well, I won't comment until I read anymore. So Psalm 75, verse 1 says, "We give thanks to you, O God. We give thanks, for your name is near. We recount your wondrous deeds." Recount your wondrous deeds. So that's the psalmist who is praying this prayer, or singing this song, that give thanks, your name is near, when you recount your wondrous deeds. And then it shifts from second person, the psalmist, to first person, God himself talking. He says, "At the set time that I appoint, I will judge with equity. When the earth totters and all its inhabitants, it is I who keep steady its pillars." And two thoughts here. So bigger context, God is shaking things up in this psalm. For them, it's likely because they're talking about opposing enemies and so on. So in Israel, likely there is an external threat of enemies that are coming against and maybe threatening the borders. And once again, Israel is forced to decide, who will I trust? Am I going to trust in God or not? And God is saying, this is a judgment. I am coming to judge. I'm shaking things up. So who gets shaken in this context? Well, the psalmist says, all the inhabitants of the earth. So when God judges, certainly he's not going to condemn the righteous, but everybody gets shaken up. Everybody feels God's judgment. Everybody is affected by it. And it kind of begs the deeper truth that it's the reality of hard times. Hard times may be a judgment from God on the inhabitants of the world. We don't know. We're trying to discern that, right, when we experience them. But at the same time, they are a blessing because the Bible tells us that we must learn endurance. Our character is proven in hard times. We develop spiritual muscles of faith during hard times that can't be developed in any other way, and they're necessary for our spiritual and emotional maturity. Everybody faces hard times. We all have to face failure and the potential of failure and the actual experience of failure, because we grow from that and we learn, and it's painful and so on. And so between these two verses, verses 1 and 2 and 3, we have God coming in, shaking things up. All the inhabitants of the earth are being tottered and tilted, and we're like, what is going on? And so the initial verses of the psalm, verse 1 in particular, the psalmist is saying, we're going to give thanks. We're going to give thanks in this hard time because God is near, and we're going to meditate on all of his wondrous deeds of the past, because right now we have a threat. There's something that's causing our world to be shaken, and in the lives of the writer and the readers of Psalms. And so it's important for us to realize that when God's judgment, we always think about judgment as being God's wrath being poured out. And certainly for the wicked, that is what is being received. But the righteous are also experiencing I want to say the side effects of that, but it's the intended consequences of God's judgment affect everybody. But for the righteous, all things work for the good of those who are called who love God, who are called according to his purpose. And we count it all joy, when we encounter various trials, because we know that those trials are the proving of our faith. We reach spiritual maturity. We can't do it any other way. All of those things. So we have that attitude. But we must choose. The psalmist is choosing that attitude. I am going to give God thanks because he is near. Can he see God? Can the psalmist does he physically know that God is nearby? He does not. God is invisible. God is spirit. And so this is a statement of faith. And this is one that we all have to make when our world is being shaken. And that we have to say, yep, God, I know that you're near because you tell me that. I know that you are with me because your scriptures tell me that over and over and over. And in fact, I don't have to reach very far back in my own personal human experience to know that you have proven yourself to me time and time and time again. So I'm going to recount all your wondrous deeds, and I'm going to give thanks to you because I know you're near. That is a statement of faith, and a statement based upon someone who's lived a life long enough to have seen plenty of hard times and the earth being shaken. So the older we get, we also have the value of life experience, that this one hard time or experience isn't our only hard time, that it just destroys our world, right? When we're younger, hard things just really rock our lives. But when we get older, we realize that this is just one of many. This isn't the first time I've experienced a hard time, and this won't be the last time. And in all times, I will trust God because I know he is near, and he has been near in all of my experiences prior. And I'm going to trust him. Though God says, I will judge, he goes, I will judge with equity. I won't be unfair. I see the hearts of men. I know who are the wicked and who are the righteous, and I will stand up for the righteous. And this is the statement that I kind of entitled my morning devotion around, is though the earth is shaken and all its inhabitants, the pillars will not fall. He goes, God says, I'm the one who sustains them. I'm the one who will keep them in place. And so what does that mean? It's poetic language, and so we're kind of left to decide what that means, I suppose. But in other words, the things that are holding things together, it's even though the many things are being shaken and everybody's feeling it, the core essentials of our world will not fall because God sustains them. And I know this to be true. And one evidence that I point to oftentimes, how do I know the pillars won't fall? Because I can look right over here. It's backwards in your camera, on your phone, but over to my left is the east. And every single morning, right on time, without fail, exactly where God has appointed it, the sun will rise every single day. That is a pillar, an example of a pillar that I can count on every single day. I can look around and I can see those turkeys on the hill over there. I know that God, by his provision, feeds all the wild animals. They don't depend on me to provide food for them. God feeds all the animals. That is a pillar. I just know that. It just happens. It's out in the wilderness somewhere. I don't even see it. My mind doesn't even go there like, oh my goodness, what about all the animals? How are they eating? I don't fret about that stuff because God feeds them. The Bible says God gives the animals all of their food. God causes the sun to rise in the east and set in the west. God will send his rain in due season. It's cold out here. It's 30-something degrees right now. Am I surprised by that? No. Why? Because it's December. This is a pillar that we can count on year after year after year, that if it's not in the 30s on a December morning, we would call it unseasonably warm, right? Because we count on certain seasons to be certain temperatures generally, because that's a pillar. So those are the natural things that we can see, but those are the things that remind me every single day. Though my world is shaken and all the inhabitants of the earth feel God's movements and his judgments, we can thank God because he is near and his pillars will not fall. He will sustain us. So we have to make the statement of faith. God, you are near. I can't see you, but I know you're near, and I'm going to remember all your wondrous deeds, and I am going to have a heart of thanksgiving. So important for us when we go through difficult times. So whatever you're facing today, whatever struggle, know that God is near. Remember how he's delivered you in the past, and know just as surely as the sun has risen or is rising, if you're on the West Coast, in the east right now, God's pillars are not shaken. They will not fall. His truths will stand forever. So be blessed today, and I will see you again tomorrow morning. God bless.